In a world where kingdoms fall and stars still remember names, this song was forged from magic memory and the dream that refused to die. Welcome to a tale where wonder still breathes. This is the short story, the final act and the first kiss. A romantic love fantasy for my Yongsun by Pacampara. If this tale stirred something in you, a memory, a dream, or a truth, our Ko-fi, Amazon, and Patreon links are in the description. Support helps us keep writing for you and the ones you hold dear. The town was made of whispers and wings. When dusk descended, the air grew thick with murmured confessions and the rustle of paper lanterns that glowed along the narrow lanes, their amber light trembling across the tiled roofs, while lovers released folded birds into the rising wind. The wings brushed each other like passing breaths, and when snow began to fall, the flakes melted on ink, leaving faint tears that shimmered as they froze again. It was said the town sky was never empty. It carried every heartbeat that it folded into paper. Jess walked through that quiet storm the night before he left. Yongsun waited by the bridge, hair lit by the lantern's reflection in the river below. They spoke softly, as if the cranes nesting in the rafters could overhear their secrets. "When you miss me," he said, "fold the air into wings." She smiled faintly. "And then what happens when you miss me?" "I'll write until the snow learns your name," Jess replied. And he did. In his first letter before the frost, Jess said this to Yong. "The lanterns still burn in my hands even after I let yours go. The river tonight sounded like folded paper. Every ripple, another heartbeat I'll miss. The cranes I taught you to make could speak. They would whisper your name back to me through the wind if they could speak. Keep one near your pillow. It will remember the shape of my breath, and when the frost comes, whisper to it, and it will tell me what you said. Until the spring unbuttons the cold, my love." Jess. He kissed her once, light and uncertain, the kind that promises more when the seasons turn and the autumn took him. In the frozen north, Jess worked where the world had no music. Axes sang dull songs against trees heavy with frost. The air smelled of iron and pine resin. Even the light felt brittle, and every night, when the wind softened, he sat beside a lantern and folded paper cranes from the pages of old ledgers. He wrote beneath their wings, letters meant for her, letters meant to keep his hands warm. Letter 2, the first crane in early winter, from Jess to Yong. Morning light has no color here, only the sound of wood splitting. Still, I fold your face into every crane. The paper warms when I touch it, perhaps because you are thinking of me. Do the birds still sing on your windowsill? I feed them a grain for me, please. For every heartbeat I owe you. You are my warmth in the absence of fire. Yours truly, Jess. That memory pulsed in his fingers. She had been terrible at it. And she creased the paper wrong, laughed too much, and don't force it, he told her. Let it listen to you. And if it doesn't, he teased, then it's already yours. He smiled at how the thought of each night, and he set a finished crane on the windowsill. And each morning it was gone, carried south by the wind and the invisible current that moved between lovers. Yongsun's world, by contrast, was warm but restless. The theater smelled of sawdust and roses from bouquets left by patrons long gone. She was rehearsing her first leading role, a heroine searching for love she half believed in. During rehearsal, she kept Jess's letters folded in her sleeve. The director shouted and the pianist struck uncertain chords, yet whenever her courage faltered, she touched the paper like a charm. Letter 3, feather in ink. Yong to Jess. My love, your cranes arrive damp with dew. I keep them near the birds. They guard them as if they know I send you a feather. This is green this time, because today I laughed. The theater smells of paint and dust. I pretend the spotlight is your gaze, steady and bright. And when I falter on stage, I imagine you in the front row, smiling at my mistakes. Come home, the snow learns mercy. Yongsun. At night, she would open her window to the wind. One of his screens always perched on the sill, its belly faintly perfumed with cedar smoke. She unfolded them carefully, reading by candlelight. The letters became her secret diary of fate and her rehearsal for hope. After reading, she left him something in return, a feather from her pet lovebirds, morning and dawn. The golden one meant she was smiling, the green one that she was trying to. Each feather she tied with silk and placed on the railing. She liked to imagine him waking to find them glimmering in the frost. But distance breeds both longing and doubt. Some evenings, after the others had gone, Yongsun stayed alone on stage. She spoke her lines into the darkened seats. What is love but a promise to return? Her voice echoed back hollowly. She pressed her palms to the floorboards, feeling their chill step upward, and wondered if art could fill the space where a heartbeat used to be. Then, she'd unfold one of his screens, read the same words again and again until the ache eased. You laced it, my love. You breathe meaning into words that were born lifeless. When winter comes, I'll be there to surprise you with kisses you'll never forget. She traced the last sentence until her eyes blurred, and outside the snow began to gather along the rooftops. Catching in the lamplight like drifting embers, she whispered to the glass, "Then hurry, the snow's already begun." The snowstorm met him halfway home. By then, Jess's satchel was heavy with unused paper and the soft remains of failed folds. The wind howled through the trees like a chorus mourning something unnamed. He stopped at an inn where travelers warmed their hands above the hearth and read letters aloud from paper birds he had found in the snow. Some of these were his. Others were strangers, but the words were never the same. Love, regret, fate, and forgiveness. The sound filled the room like music. One man even began humming Can't Help Falling in Love, and soon the entire inn joined softly, voices trembling against the storm. Just listened, heart swollen with the strange grace of it. His private language had become the town's. Love, he realized, was not meant to stay caged inside two people. It always wanted to fly. In his fourth letter through the blizzard, he said that the road is gone, buried under white silence. I can't feel my fingers, but I still remember your shape. If I write this kneeling in the snow, the ink freezing mid-stroke, if the crane never finds you, know that every snowflake tonight carries a word of my love, countless, unending, and weightless. Even if the world forgets our names, this wind won't. Your love, Jess. When he stepped back in the storm, he wrote one last letter on his knees, ink freezing midline. That if this doesn't reach you, my love, let the snow speak for me. I'm on my way. And then he folded the page into a crane and released it into the wind. The gust snatched up, carrying it toward the south, where lanterns waited like stars. Then he pulled his coat tight and walked on, guided by the faint echo of a song the innkeeper had been humming. Here comes the sun. The road blurred to white, but he kept walking. By the time Jess reached the town, winter had turned the world into crystal. Icicles clung into every eave, and the bridge, where they parted, gleamed like a blade under the moonlight. The theater stood on the hill like a lantern made of glass. Bells rang faintly, and the premiere was tonight. Inside, Yongsun had waited in her dressing room, the script trembling in her hands. Her reflection looked foreign, rough cheeks, jeweled gown, eyes painted for someone she wasn't. Around her, the other actors laughed nervously, adjusting collars and gloves. She felt lightheaded, as though her heartbeat had been misplaced somewhere between rehearsal and curtain. The letter 5, the doubt. This the letter from Young to Jess. Jess, tonight, I may forget my lines. The director sighed and the piano stopped. I almost cried, but I remembered your words. Don't force it. Let it listen to you. So, I whispered the lines like prayers, not performance, and the stage listened. Maybe you did too. I'm scared, but if courage is love in motion, then I am already walking toward you. Your beloved Yongsun. The director poked his head. 5 minutes, Yong. Remember, the heroine's final act. She believes he will come. She smiled thinly and said, I'll try. When the door closed, she exhaled and unfolded the last crane she had received. It had arrived that morning, its paper dusted with the real snow, as if it had flown through a storm to find her. Inside was a single line, I'm closer than you think. Her pulse stuttered. She tucked the note into her bodice and stepped onto the stage. The audience hushed as the curtain rose. The set shimmered, a forest of paper trees, thousands of cranes suspended from the ceiling. Music swelled, low strings weaving under a single flute. Yongsun's first words floated into the silence. Letter 6, closer than you think. This a letter from Jess to Yongsun. My heart, the storm has passed and the roads beneath my boots. I will not say when I'll arrive, only that I'm closer than you think. Tonight, when the curtain rises, look toward the wings. If the light feels warmer, it's because I'm already there. Yours always, Jess. I have searched the seasons and folded longing into my wings. Each line spilled from her like breath had been holding for months. And then, when she turned toward the wings of the stage, waiting for her screen partner, the space was empty. She felt the ache of that emptiness sharpen her voice as she sang a soft melody reminiscent of summer over the rainbow, and the theater seemed to tilt, the world narrowing to her heartbeat. Then a shadow moved beyond the lights. Jess stepped into the view, snow still melting in his hair, a bouquet of white chrysanthemums in his hand, and the orchestra faltered. Stunned, and the audience leaned forward. He crossed to her slow and sure until he stood within the halo of her spotlight. He bowed slightly. I told you, he whispered, so only she could hear, I'd surprise you. She could barely breathe, but she didn't miss her cue. Turning to the crowd, she delivered her final line through a trembling smile. I have found him. Applause rose like thunder, and the cranes above began to tremble on their strings. Jess offered her the bouquet. She took it, fingers brushing his, and when the music swelled again, they moved toward each other, not actors, not characters, but two halves of a promise long kept. Their kiss drew the entire audience to its feet. Snow licked through the cracked rafters, spinning in the light like descending stars. Some said later that the paper birds unfurled into real ones, wings beating softly against the ceiling as if blessing their union. After the curtain fell, the theater refused to sleep. People poured into the streets laughing and crying and folding cranes out of ticket stubs and programs. Children released them into the midnight wind. By the hour before dawn, the whole sky was moving, an endless constellation of paper wings glimmering under the moon. Jess and Yongsun climbed to the rooftop, escaping the noise below. The air was sharp and clear, and they could see their breath weaving together in the cold. The town beneath them glowed like a galaxy trapped in snow. She leaned into him. Do you hear them? He listened. Somewhere below, someone played an harmonica, faintly echoing somewhere in the way she moves. The melody floated upward like smoke. They're singing for us, he said. She smiled. Then we should give them something to remember. He took a sheet of parchment from his coat, the last one he carried, and folded it slowly beneath his fingers. The creases curved differently this time, softer and rounder. Yongsun watched, curiosity in her eyes. What are you making? A new one, he said, for what comes after the waiting. When he finished, the shape was unfamiliar, a crane whose wings bent inward to form a heart. He placed it in her palm. For the next chapter, he whispered, "Love shouldn't only fly, it should stay." Yongsun looked down at it, the pale paper trembling in her hands. Then she leaned forward and kissed Jess's cheek and whispered back, "Then let's teach the world how." Together they let the heart-shaped bird drift into the wind. It circled once above the roof, caught enough draft, and joined the others in their slow ascent. From below, the townsfolk gasped as the cranes arranged themselves across the heavens, forming not random stars but patterns, two figures meeting beneath a winged heart, drawn in flight. The snow continued to fall, but it no longer felt cold. Just wrapped his arm around her, pulling her close, and then for a moment, the world below seemed to vanish. All that remained was the hush of feathers, the scent of chrysanthemums, and the feeling of her breath warming the space between them. "Look," she said softly, "they become constellations." He followed her gaze, and above them, the cranes shimmered like a living Milky Way, each carried by a fragment of ink, a word of love, a feather, a dream, and together they formed a sky that remembered every letter ever written, every promise ever kept. Jess pressed his lips to her temple. "Then we've written our story on the heavens." Young laughed quietly. "And then tomorrow we'll start another fold," he replied. And the letter 7 for the final act. Letter written by Jess and Yongsun. They wrote it together. "To the wind that carried our words, we have folded every silence into wings, every waiting into melody. Let these cranes rise for those still waiting to be found. We no longer write to reach each other. We write so love itself remembers how to fly." Jess and Yongsun. The wind rose, scattering the last of the snow, and for one breathless instant, the entire town seemed to lift with the wings overhead. Somewhere, a voice began to sing, soft and uncertain but radiant with hope. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. The tune carried far beyond the rooftops, blending with the rustle of paper wings, until song and sky became one beneath that chorus. Jess and Yongsun stood together, hands intertwined, faces lifted to the constellations they had made, proof that love, when folded with faith, could outlast even the winters. And as dawn crept over the snow, the first light turned every crane into gold, and the town shone like a dream come true. Each day, I write and create for my beloved Yongsun, the sun who lights up my every verse, every tale, every quiet thought I dare to share. If her warmth reached you through these words, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep stories that shine.